tie.
Crack me up every time you do that.
Isn't that a type of sandwich?
All right, everybody.
I'm feeling empanada.
We just finished up our unit on the Constitution. We're getting ready to look at our expanding nation. That's the next unit. But we have something that kind of goes between the two. The Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights are our guaranteed freedoms, and we're going to learn a little bit about where they come from. Which brings us to the guiding question for today. Where did the Bill of Rights come from? I want you to take a couple minutes and think about it. Kind of write down your ideas. Think about some of the ideas behind the Bill of Rights and where the words used in the Bill of Rights may have originated from. Then when y'all get done, we'll talk a little bit about it. So take about 5 minutes or so and write down some ideas. Where did the Bill of Rights come from?
Was it Madison?
Yeah, I think just followed the Bill of Rights. There were originally 12, but they got rid of 2 of
There was
them.
22.
There were originally 12 for the Bill of Rights proposed. The
Yeah,
line
there's
passed.
like 37 proposed or something like that.
Every state, when they had a convention in their states to approve the Constitution, approved it on condition that they proposed a certain set of amendments. Like Virginia had 20, so like every state had proposed a different number.
Oh, is that what it was?
Okay, this is the ones that Madison.
Madison only proposed 9.
Okay, I did research on this very, very recently, so it's definitely 12.
I don't want to be the guy who does this, but on June 8, 1789, Representative James Madison introduced 9 amendments to the Constitution of the House of Representatives.
Okay, maybe there was just 12 considered for the Beaver Bill of Rights, and they got rid of 2.
The Congress approved 12 articles, but the states, I guess, only approved 7.
Those are articles. Technically, a lot of other years too. Like, just a few. I mean, they made.
Okay. Alright, so. Okay, so what else? Where's the influences, guys? We're missing the influences.
Why is it?
Big state, was it little states or big states that were afraid of tyranny?
Yes.
Some of them were much more, like, I think it was the big states that were saying, we're not going to sign this unless there's a Bill of Rights.
Isn't
Think about
is it
some
from
of the
the
reasons
English?
they may have.
English.
Oh yeah, it was inspired
English
by the
Proclamation
Virginia,
of Rights?
it was inspired partly by Virginia Declaration of Rights.
Yeah, I got that. Statute of Religious Freedom. James Madison. Fear of monarchy. Let's put that one in there.
And tyranny.
Yeah, monarchy, tyranny, federalism.
Yeah, fear of too strong of a central government.
Let's just that one there. Central government.
So it's
What else? I'm just like English Proclamation and Declaration of Human Rights. Hold on.
limited.
That's a mouthful.
There it is. English Bill of Rights. I knew it was in there. There we go. Under William and Mary. That's why they got a college named after them in Virginia.
Guys, you're not taking very many notes. I'm seeing a lot of notes coming from over here.
No, I've got mine on.
You got yours on the
typing ours
computer?
out.
We already know it.
Protecting, protecting.
Better not be playing a game on there now.
Well, no.
You don't want to mess with him. He's the one taking greens.
Of course not.
Protecting the people or country?
Protect the people in states from.
They were much more about personal rights and states' rights than.
Yeah, but there's a whole amendment.
Protecting people.
Protecting people.
There's one that states get.
The what?
Comes from legal documents.
Anything bad in a progressive government.
It also comes from the development of the conventions, right? Isn't it?
You can see a lot of relics of what they're complaining about
Yeah, you
during
can
the
see
colonies. So, Third Amendment, for example.
Product of the convention.
protect against laws passed.
Yeah, warrant.
Similar laws. Laws
All right,
similar
guys,
to what
take
they're
about one more minute, kind
laws
of tie up what you're putting
similar
down.
to what the
Get ready to discuss.
such as the Quartering Act. That was not a popular one. Also, I can't spell quarter.
Take it to
It's for 25 cents.
The 25 Cents Act.
Did we answer all the things? Language itself.
All right, is everybody good? Everybody's
Petition.
tied up what they were talking about?
Freedom of press.
Ready to go? All right, so tell me a little bit about Bill of Rights. Where did it come from? Yes, sir.
I know that the states had conventions where they had to ratify the Constitution, and some of them, when they did that, were like, well, we want other things in addition to just that. So they made like recommendations.
Okay. They wanted other things as in,
Like other rights than were in the Constitution.
okay, so they wanted more than what the Constitution was given.
Yeah.
Okay? Somebody else.
It was modeled along the lines of the Virginia Declaration of Rights and the Statute of Religious Freedom.
Virginia Declaration of Rights and Statute of Religious Freedom. Let's keep those in mind. Somebody over here. Olivia.
It protects the people and gives them rights.
Protects the people, gives them rights. Does it give them rights? Does it give them rights, or does it maybe guarantee rights they already have?
Guarantee rights there.
Think back a little bit to our discussion of Locke and natural rights, which are what? Property. Jefferson modified it a little bit. All right, somebody else. One more.
It was ratified in 1791.
Ratified in 1791. And it was proposed when?
Between 1787 and 88.
Close enough. 1789.
We were.
1789.
It's on the paper.
Okay, so here's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to look at the way that the Declaration of Rights and the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom influenced the U.S. Bill of Rights. We're going to look at a little bit of the history behind the Bill of Rights and see why maybe these two documents that we talk about in particular had a great influence on the U.S. Bill of Rights. Through the course of the day, we've done this, our Just Do It. We're going to do a little review and background on the Bill of Rights. We're going to compare some documents. We're going to look at 3 documents in particular, compare those. We're going to write a letter to Congress in a little bit. Then we'll come back and revisit a little of this with our exit slip. So, background on the Bill of Rights. As we said, was proposed in 1789, ratified in 1791. It's a guarantee of our natural rights as American citizens. It borrows heavily from the Virginia Declaration of Rights, written by this man, George Mason. When Virginia declared itself free in June of 1776, the first thing they thought of was, we need a government. of some kind. So they put together a constitution. And the very first article of that constitution is a list of rights. I need a volunteer. Don't everybody jump at once. Jared?
Oh, thanks for volunteering, Jared.
You're all the worst.
Come on down.
What am I doing?
This is how we volunteer people in the Army.
Yeah.
I need you to pass these out.
Okay.
Ah, man. I mean,
Now we're gonna have to be long.
yeah.
Jared is handing you all a copy of the Virginia Declaration of Rights.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to have to hold something up for the
I
entire
have a
lecture.
copy of the U.S. Bill of Rights. That was the first document I gave you, kind of get you to thinking about some of the freedoms that we have. This document hopefully will show you where some of those freedoms came from. Extras?
Yeah, let's go and go right into it.
Y'all have. All right, you will notice it's kind of strange looking, a little bit different font. This comes, I believe, I'm a firm believer that primary sources should be looked at in their natural habitat. This is a book, it comes from a book called The Virginia Statutes at Large that was put together in the 1820s. It has all the statutes of Virginia going back to the first House of Burgesses.
That's really cool.
So on the front of this, when was it passed? When was it adopted? Agreed to.
March 1781.
That's actually for the Articles of Confederation. That's the document that appears in the book immediately before this. Look down about the middle of the little printed section there.
June 12th.
June 12, 17.
June 12, 1776, so before the Declaration of Independence. This document also very heavily influenced Jefferson's draft of the Declaration of Independence. You'll see a lot of the same kind of language here that you see in the Declaration. So this was the go-to for some of our founding fathers in drafting some of the documents that we have today. There is one more document. I need another volunteer. Actually, go ahead and give me two volunteers. I'll give everything out at one time.
For Sam, so much.
It's an easier exit route.
All right, hand those out. Sam, you hand those out.
Are you guys getting it?
I didn't know that. I think we have.
Okay.
I didn't I know that?
So a little bit of background. What are some of the things in the U.S. Bill of Rights that we are guaranteed? What are some of the freedoms that we're guaranteed, some of the rights that we have? Yes.
Freedom of and from religion.
Freedom of and from religion. It's a good way to put it. Someone else.
Free speech.
Free speech. Yes, sir.
Freedom of the press.
Freedom of the press. Why is that important?
Make sure that the government doesn't control the news you hear.
Very good. Someone else. Anyone?
What was the question?
What are some of the freedoms that we have? Ask you another question. Instead, where do these rights come from? The right to free speech, the right to do pretty much what we want to within reason. Freedom from religion. Yes,
Is this going back to Locke?
goes back to Locke. Where do they get their power? Where do these rights get their power?
That was a good question.
let's look at it this way. Where does the Constitution get its power?
From the people.
From the people. So the U.S. Bill of Rights
Also draws its power from the people.
draws its power from the people.
That's a good
It's
way.
part of the U.S. Constitution. Now, you have the Virginia Declaration of Rights. How many of you would be surprised to know that all 13 of the original states had a Bill of Rights?
Makes sense.
Each state constitution included a Bill of Rights. So why do we need one now that we have a constitution for the entire nation? If each state's already guaranteed them, why do you think we need one at the national level? Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So probably because all the states had it. So what? Like, if the states didn't get that in the Constitution, they might not have agreed to join it. Like, they have to, because the Articles of Confederation, right? Everybody has to agree to
Right.
change it. So if they're going to do that, they have to get everybody on board.
I think it all goes back to tyranny and fear of it.
Fear of tyranny. It's a plausible answer. Thank you. Anybody else? Sam, we haven't heard a whole lot from you today. What do you think?
I'm thinking, it makes sense that they would have a united Bill of Rights. If they have a united Constitution, then it would make sense that they also have a united Bill of Rights.
Think about it this way too. You've got 13 different bills of rights. Are they all the same? Do they all guarantee the same things? Now, there are a lot of common threads through them. Go ahead, Olivia.
I say maybe they have similar things, but not all the same rights, but it definitely overlapping ones.
Exactly. They have some overlap, but they're not all exactly the same.
And also possibly the supremacy clause could play into it.
The supremacy clause could play into it. Very good. Very good.
It could also be coming from the idea of, one equal nation, everybody has the same rights and being guaranteed from the, the supreme power of the land.
Very good. Very good. All right. Virginia Declaration of Rights. Let's shift our focus back over to it. It was adopted in 1776. There are 16 articles in the Virginia Declaration of Rights. That's a lot of rights. That's our first document, Virginia Declaration of Rights. The second one, everybody knows this guy,
TJ.
Thomas Jefferson, authored the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom. You will notice how many pages it is. That's the best way to tell that Thomas Jefferson wrote something. It's long. That was funny, y'all can laugh. We're not going to read the whole thing. We're going to focus on the last page, Article 2. We have 3 pages worth dealing just with religion. I want you to read that section carefully, section 2. Remember what Chris said about freedom of and from religion.
Where's section 2?
It is on the last page, first full paragraph down. Statute of Religious Freedom. I think you're on the right page.
Last page of the
Yeah.
first document.
Yes. And if you look, when you finished reading, at the Declaration of Rights, Section 16, that deals with religion as well. Notice the differences in the language, though. Somebody read me the last sentence of Section 16 of the Declaration of Rights. Becca, how about you? Section 16, very last one, very last sentence.
And that it is the mutual duty of all to practice Christian forbearance, love, and charity towards God.
So what are they advocating here? The state of Virginia is advocating what?
Freedom of Christian faith.
Freedom of Christian faith. Then Section 2, that we read just a minute ago of the Statute of Religious Freedom, says that no man shall be compelled to frequent or support any religious worship. So now we see how things have changed. We've come from advocating one religion to freedom of and from religion. Now we're going to go from these to the Bill of Rights. You have a worksheet, a comparison worksheet. I want you to pair up